Running! How do you, Max? You were scared by the ads. Well, there you go. You were scared by the ads. That's a thing. Oh, I mean, I didn't quite scare myself then, but I just confused the hell out of myself because I had the YouTube thing open to see if multi-chat was working, and YouTube runs about a minute behind, maybe two. In fact, to be fair, I think when it's not on screen, it just pauses. So I'm even further behind now. And I just heard it go, morning! It's like, that's my line! That's my line, what are you doing? Twitch starts to do this thing where it goes 100% volume every time you open it. Well, my browser tends to remember what volume I have something on. Because, like, I tend to have YouTube. YouTube tends to be on about a third volume. Compared to, like, Twitch I'll generally have on full volume. YouTube tends to be on about a third. Spotify is usually around what it is now. And so the browsers tend to remember, but there have been plenty of like streamers that I watch on Twitch, and then if when an ad has turned up in the past, I mean, I have the turbo thing now, so I don't really see the ads much now. But I know in the past, having watched like really quiet streamers, and then the ads come in, and the ads are just like, "Wah!" and you're just there going, "Ah!" But I think that's just because I presume it's because the ads are like, the ads must be set up in a similar way to the way that YouTube's set up. I would have thought. Whereas when you're watching streamers, you've got so many different sound setups. But anyway, so I scared you. Well, I'd say I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm not. So there we go. Right, what are we doing today? What was I doing yesterday before I got distracted? I was working on those peasants, wasn't I? I'll tell you what I'll do. Tell you what I'll do. I was trying to start stream before, and I was trying to find some music to listen to. I'm kind of struggling with the music at the moment, because I kind of like listen to all the stuff that I kind of want to listen to so many times now that I'm getting to a point where I'm starting to not really want to listen to it anymore. Like the gunship stuff. Like, I really do love the gunship music, but kind of like I've listened to it so much now, I'm kind of getting sick of it. A bit like the game soundtracks that I've listened to. But yeah, I was trying to find something. I mean, the easy thing would possibly... Although I don't know if it works for YouTube. I need to test it at some point. I need to double check, because in the past I couldn't do it. I couldn't remove music from the VODs. I might need to test that for YouTube with... I can't do it now though, because I've started the stream. Maybe if I remember tomorrow. Maybe. And I might just go back to other music. I mean, I have been wondering about just actually just not having music on videos at all. Getting rid of music altogether. But I think it'd probably just end up too quiet if I did that. Which would not be great. Don't know what I'm even sketching here. Don't know what... This isn't going to be anything. Don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, actually, I know what. Do you know what? Something I was looking at yesterday. Let's load up the thing. I remember where I put it. Where did I put it? Where are you? Morning, Anne. Morning, morning. So I'm thinking... I might not have the humans here. Or at least some of the humans, maybe. Although if I do that, that actually means I need to move these guys as well, because that is was a human city. I'm thinking about maybe moving the humans to possibly a different continent. Possibly a continent that's maybe over this way. Do you know what? That's a mistake. I might leave that there. Maybe that's just going to be a random island that's going to happen because of that little mistake that I've made there. We'll keep it. So yeah, I'm thinking about putting the human kingdoms somewhere over this way. The only issue I have with doing this is if I put the human kingdoms over here, that kind of removes them from all the other races, and that would just seem a bit weird if it's just like, yes, this is the human continent and this is everyone else's continent. That wouldn't really make a lot of sense. So I suppose I could have them on both. God, we've had so much rain for the last couple of days, which makes sense because apparently we've got a typhoon going on at the moment. But we got a lot of rain, lot of rain. When we were, about a couple of weeks ago, I was kind of like, there is no way. Like, they were it was about a month, I think, maybe a month and a half ago. The weather guys were predicting that we were going to have, in August, we were going to have temperatures of 5 degrees and potentially snow. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then as we went through July, I was like, how did they ever come to that? How did they ever come to that conclusion? And now just the last the last 3 days, the temperatures like dropped. It's not dropped to 5 degrees by any means. It's not dropped to 5 degrees. But the last few days, the temperature has dropped by, I think it's about 6 degrees. We got a lot of rain. We got a lot of wind. And I'm almost kind of there going, I still don't know if it's going to happen, but it's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting seeing it. Come together. I mean, I still don't think we'd get snow. If, in terms of if I was putting a bet on, I would not put a bet on that there was going to be snow. But I'm still surprised how much the temperature has dropped. Saw a documentary about the Mesopotamian era. Apparently some of the cities had the classic game type setup, straight lines. Oh, you mean city layouts where it's just squares? It makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, it's very Roman. I've always thought of it more as a Roman type thing, but yeah, fair enough. That's kind of where I've taken it from, but okay. If there's more historic, we need to let Sado know, because Sado's the one who gets upset with my squares. Joe, good morning. Morning. How you doing? I'm going to pull this back a lot. That's... not how I meant to do it. Let's do it like that. And then I've got a wave in YouTube, but I've been told off for acknowledging that particular chatter, so I won't. I'll just say they were waving. I'm not acknowledging. There we go. We'll acknowledge the wave, but not who it was. Dragon Tier, hello. Max, I said it strangely yesterday, so it doesn't count. What, Massimo? Now, look, I can't... I've got to do artwork. I've got to do artwork, Max. I can't always bring this hand up. Massimo. There you go. It's all right now, isn't it, Massimo? Now you understand. I thought you would. Now that the hand gesture's there, yeah, I get it. I get the problem. So if I'm going to do this, that does mean that I'm going to take this away. Because I'm probably going to put this over in the human lands. Means I don't know what I'm going to do with this entirely, but we'll, yeah. There's something I do want to change with this. Is... Come on, the thing. Come on, there we go. Oh, wait, why are you not? Oh, no. No, 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 no. You, over there. I grabbed the wrong thing. Again. Give me that. Alright. Feeling? Good morning. Morning. If you may ask, you can always ask. First I watch it. I'm trying to put together a bit of an idea for a map. I already had some lore for some of the stuff going on in this world. And so some of this map has been put together from a narrative point of view, because I know what's supposed to be happening in these particular locations. But part of what I'm trying to work out, and so starting to build the map is where things are in relation to each other, with the intention that I can start kind of like trying to fill out the lore a bit better. And already starting to put some of these bits on a map, I'm kind of going, actually this probably wouldn't work. I either need to move the location where something is on the map, or I need to change the law. But being that I'm doing the law, being that I'm doing the map after the fact, I'm probably going to move where some of these things are on the map. And then some of it, some of the map, I'm just kind of letting it, I'm just drawing whatever the hell I want, and then seeing if I like the shape and whether anything's springing to mind. So in terms of the only places that have really got established lore are the bits that have kind of got, like the bit with yellow borders around. They're the only bits that have got established lore right now. And so I'm trying to work out where these things are in relation to each other. And I've already worked out a few bits that need to move around or change, because they don't necessarily work with what happens in the lore. So yeah, this is more just throwing things down and seeing how they look, not really any kind of specific process to it. And this map, the map can change. It's not even, the map's not set in stone. So, this little area here is the main Dwarven Kingdom. We've got another Dwarven city over here, but the dwarves are generally going to be where all the mountains are. I was originally going to have the humans here, but this kind of feels a bit too close, so I'm thinking about moving the humans over to here. Although, and this was labelled as the frontier. This is probably not going to be the frontier. The frontier, I think I'm going to move. I think the frontier instead is going to be over here. But if I do that, the frontier is very connected to what happened here. I don't think it's going to stay, but I also need to work out where it's going to be. Because there's a faction that comes about from this location here, which then interacts with the frontier a lot. But the idea of them being on the frontier, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. But the fact that this is a human city, actually, the fact that it's a human city might play into it being further away from the human settlements, from the human empire. Maybe that does work. Maybe that does actually work. That could work. That might actually stay exactly where it is. And ignore all the words that I just said. It might stay exactly where it is. I think it's cool that I'm doing stuff like this. Well, if this is stuff you enjoy, I'm glad you get some kind of enjoyment from it. This is mostly me just muddling my way through. Tom, do you know what, that name doesn't immediately ring a bell, but I'm not good with names. I'm better with faces. I don't know, I'm not familiar, I don't think. Yeah, I did a quick Google. Musician, songwriter, satirist or satirist? Satirist. And a mathematician. Right, actually, do you know what? This could stay here. That could be a thing that stays there. And then oh, what? Did I not just pick that? I thought I just picked that. Oh, there we go. You're making a map region for D&D Pokemon. Okay. Campaign, yeah. First time being a DM, it's a little too much. I've never been a DM, and I've never played D&D, so I've never really had to get into those. I've never had to get super in depth into those kind of things. But I've spoken to a whole bunch of people who've done like DMing and stuff, and yeah, that seems like a massive task. No, I don't. So you went to buy some stuff this morning at the grocery store, and they had yellow watermelons. Wait, do you just buy everything that's yellow? You were talking about yellow foods yesterday, were you? Max is just like, my favourite colour is yellow. I will buy anything that is yellow. I'm also kind of tempted with this thing. Like, what if I just... I could even do something like that, couldn't I? What happens if I turn it upside down? How do I feel about this if it's the other way round? Whoop. What if it's that way round? What if it's that way round? That's not right. That's not... Stop it. Stop it. Go back the way I want you. Thank you. It just stood out. It just stood out because it was yellow. Okay, now we know. Now we know. Basically, I'm going to make this entire map. I'm going to make this entire map. And then just all of a sudden, just, you know, like everyone will be like, oh, what's that location down there? What's that location down there? You know, all these locations. You know, people will be like, oh, is that where the elves, do they live down here? Oh, where are the dwarves? Where are the humans? Where are all the demons? Where do they all live? And Max is just going to be like, what's going on up in that corner? What's happening up in that corner, hey? Hey? And I'll just be like, oh, it was actually just a mistake. And Max is like, was it? Was it? Was it a mistake? Was it? Who lives there? This is where, I'll tell you what, this is where Max lives. This is where Max lives. Yeah, he lives off in the corner. He lives off in the corner. That's where he lives. Max, mate. What are you doing to me, mate? um. Imaginary Holly, hello, hello. Um, I'm just, yeah. I don't know how I feel about this map right now. I'm kind of, the problem I've got is I'm trying to put together a map, but there's only part of it that I've kind of got a narrative for, so I've kind of not really got a proper feel for the rest of it yet. It'll come. It'll come. The old Mappers block. Well, kind of. Yeah, it's kind of the old Mappers block. So I kind of like, I've got a narrative, which at the moment, even though this isn't what they're called because they've got different names now, but for the sake of keeping it simple, in my own brain, I started off with some gnomes, and then I had the gnomes interacting with the dwarves, and so I kind of like, I know where those two are, and I have kind of their origin story kind of bits going on. So I know where they are, and I know how they interact with each other. So their location, I'm kind of familiar with what's going on there. And then as I've kind of like tried to expand it out, I've got ideas for a couple of other places, but I'm trying to work out where best to put those other locations. Because once I put them on the map, I start seeing and kind of going, actually, wait, that location is really close to that place. Does that even make sense that it would be close to there? And so that this is more like 1,000% this map is not going to stay this way. But I'm more trying to. It feels a bit better. It makes more sense to me to do it kind of like this way, rather than just kind of going. Because like originally, I was kind of like, oh, location 1 is here, and location 2 is here, and then there's a location that's meant to be far away that's over here, and there's a location over here that's meant to be far away over here. And kind of like I'm looking at them going, that makes sense because that's far away, and then I've put them on a map, and I've kind of gone, oh wait, no, they're next door neighbours. If I put them on a map, all of a sudden they become next door neighbours. So I'm kind of, yeah, this is good. This is good because it's making me think a bit more about how I want the world to be. There's just... And all of this is so I could just... There's a particular piece of lore that I want to flesh out. And so I'm trying to work out where it is in the world to work out why it is the way it is. And I think I'm kind of getting there. Guys, I will be back in a few moments.
A new challenger has entered the arena.
Imaginary Holly just followed.
Thumbs. Squire's got impressionist. Wait, hold on. Wait. Thumbs, are you telling me that all of a sudden I can sell this for about £100,000. That's generally how impressionist work goes, right? You don't have to be famous or anything. Yep, cool. Cool. I'll tell you what, you send me over that money. You send me that money, Thumbs, and you can have this right now. Right now, you can have this. Oh dear. Ju, where do the pirates reside? Pirates? I mean, there's probably going to be pirates. There's probably going to be pirates. There'll probably be pirates around here. Probably be pirates around here, around here. There'll be a load of pirates around here. Because this is going to be like the main travel point. Or actually, would there be a lot of pirates there? There might not actually. In fact, you know what? There might not be a lot of pirates here because this would be like the main route, so it'd probably be heavily patrolled. Probably find there'd be pirates around here. Maybe people trying to avoid going across the main route because it's expensive. Probably pirates around here. We can have... Yeah, Cthulhu down there. Yeah, there'll be pirates somewhere. I just don't know where there'll be pirates at the moment. But yeah, we'll do pirates at some point. Obviously, I love pirates. From an aesthetic point of view, not from what they actually do. before someone gets super confused. The pirate aesthetic, it's great. Maybe not the actions. No, wait, no, hang on. Oh, it's easy to do it this way, isn't it? Let's do... He's parting the sea. Yeah, just if you imagine people are living on this map right now, they're just utterly terrified. Just, ah! Why did the ocean just become larger? So, it's continental drift at high speed. Yeah. Learning about continental drift was so weird. Not from like a point of view of I don't really know how to describe what I felt, because I kind of almost feel like it's weird from different sides. Like learning about continental drift and being like, oh, we're actually like, like say like America and Europe are actually like geographically further apart from each other than, say like when the United States was founded. Like not a crazy amount of distance, but still kind of, it's one of those things about scale, isn't it? Like just the scale of something so massive moving, and and I understand the planets are moving, but that's a scale thing. Like I still kind of like, it's kind of wild thinking that the planets are traveling at crazy speeds and just like we don't feel it or anything. But yeah, just like the fact that the continents, like America and Europe, are getting further apart. I don't know which ones. Do you know what? All that, like kind of like new crust being formed in the middle of the Atlantic, or then thinking about like the crust that's being destroyed, just the crust that you'll never see again, that'll never exist again. I say never see again, as though like we all just travel to the bottom of the ocean and just go and look at where. Do you guys not do that? Well, if I next time I take a holiday, I'll probably just go to the bottom of the ocean and just see where the crust's being destroyed. No one else get involved in that? Just me? Okay. But yeah, things like continental drift is a whole thing. Sometimes I just shouldn't talk, because then I'd show how my brain works. How my brain drifts into different thoughts. No one needs to know my thoughts. No one needs them. Continental Squire. Wait, are you saying that I'm big? Is this what? Am I just wide Squire? Continental Squire. We should make that a button. We should make it a button. I don't know. Will this work? Wow. Oh, it doesn't work. No, damn it. Damn it. There is a way to do it. I just can't remember how to do it. Well, there is a way to do wide Squire. Oh, well, no, I've broken it. Wait, we can do... Oh, no, we can't do tall Squire. Wait, what's going on with this? No, I've broken it. Anyway, tell you what, let's just lock that again. Pretend it was never touched. Continental always reminds. So what you're saying is I remind you of a tire. I don't even know where to go with that one. Where do we? Where? What? I love that your previous statement, Max, was coming from me. It's a compliment. Oh, okay. Why is it a compliment? Because you remind me of a tire. You. Yes, yes, I see how this has come to be. I fully understand now. I am a tire. Right. Right, yep. Yep. I'm following this conversation. And I've been called worse things in the world. Of all the things I've been called, a tire, not necessarily the worst thing. Do you know what, Thumbs? They have messed up. Continental need to make a set of tyres specifically for drifting, and they need to call them Continental Drift. 100%. Where's my thing here? Right. Let's go over here. So this is what Max. It's like I've got my monitor here. Alright. I've got another monitor here. And then the microphones. Microphones coming across here. Let's got another thing here. And then I've got my drawing tablet kind of underneath the microphone, because it's the only place to kind of fit it. And then obviously we've got the screen here and the back of the desk. And then there's me. This is what Max sees when he watches the stream. So it's just me. And obviously I'm on my chair. My chair's going to be completely normal, even though I'm a tire. Even though I'm a tire. There we go. Gonna do like that. There we go. Bring that tire down there. And then the desk comes out here. Desk comes along there. The actual PC's here. Just for anyone who's curious about the PC's here. Got the cooling on the back. There you go. And then, obviously then, because it's me, because I'm streaming, I'm a tire that's streaming, I still need the headphones. So we'll still get the headphones going on. And then we'll get another. There you go. Can actually see the table through me, you know. Can't do that in real life. Doesn't work in real life. Now I've got my shelves up here. Which the camera, where is the camera? Oh no, the camera's on the edge of the monitor. It's not, I thought it was on the shelf for a moment. I don't know why, I don't think it's ever been there. Anyway, there we go, there's the camera. on my ring light, which is going to look a little bit like a small tire, but it's not. It's just a ring light, so that I look super beautiful. It sets off the rubber in my complexion. So we got the ring light there. And this is kind of what I look like. It's good to know. Got that going on. And then it'd be a bit weird, wouldn't it, if I didn't have my beard? So we'll have a bit of a beard coming out, which won't make a lot of sense coming out of a tire, but there we go. There we go. And that's what Max sees. That's what Max sees when he watches the stream. I didn't realise the rest of you saw this. Yeah. This is... I might need a new camera, I think. I think I might need a new camera if this is what everyone sees. Anyway, there you go. But yeah, anyway, coming back to Continental Drift. It does kind of blow my mind that I'm trying to remember. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how much Continental Drift there is per. In fact, I can Google it, can't I? How much to Continental Drift? How quickly does... I want to know how quickly the search engine like pre-fills this. Roughly, what is it? It's like an inch per year, so it's not a lot. It's not a lot, but when I think about it, that's like 42 inches that I've been on this earth. The UK and the US have got 42 inches further apart, according to this thing. There you are. Yeah, I know on this thing I've got it is just saying a rate of 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch per year. Which I feel like it was more. I feel like it was more back when I was a young boy. When I was a young boy, I feel like the continents worked harder. I'm pretty sure I learned that it was more like 6 centimeters. These modern day continental drifts, they just don't work as hard as they used to. But yeah, so even if we just say that's it'd be like the average, won't it? But yeah, kind of wild. Like I know 42 inches is not like a lot in the grand scheme of how big the ocean is, but it's still weird that they're just further apart than they used to be. But yeah. The other one that kind of like blew my mind, and I don't know if they even teach it anymore. I can't remember what it was called. I kind of want to... What's the other? Because that was the other thing that I always found kind of like blew my mind a bit, and I can't remember what it was. Can't remember what it was called. it was where kind of like you had. Okay, guys, we're going a bit off piste from making a map. But like, if let's just say that was the constructive margin. Let's just say this is the constructive margin right here, and then it was all to do with like working out when the polarization switched. And if you looked at the crust, no, let's not do these in colours. Oh, it's not really matter, is it? And like, if you looked at the ocean floor, it was, you could tell when like the poles had shifted. Because if you like did a, in fact, I'll tell you what, just so we know that this is a completely different thing, let's just do that. So there's the constructive margin. Although that just looks a bit weird now, to my eyes anyway. Well, you had the constructive margin, and then through the years, like so it was going like, you know, this is going this way. And then like, if you looked at a magnetize, the magnetic characteristics of the crust, you'd see that it switches periodically. And it's like because the poles switch. I can't remember what that's called. I can't remember what it's called. But that kind of blew my mind. Just like the poles switching. But I also kind of like I get how it happens. Not all even. Yeah. So that bit was kind of weird as well. It's like it doesn't all happen at the same time. Like some of them will be like that thick. And then the next one would be like that. And then the next one would also be like that. And then the next one would be like, ooh, we'll do that for ages. And then this one would be like, yeah, for a little bit. Like that as well is kind of crazy. Especially with when you think about like relying on like magnetism being an important thing in our lives. Or sorry, the directions of the poles being a part of our lives. In some places, actually, continental stretching taking over the place. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's fascinating, especially when you start thinking about how we just have no control over it. We've just kind of got to let it. We've kind of just got to like see what happens. Does it matter that this piece of the continent is stretching and getting thinner? Doesn't sound great, but there's nothing we can do about it. JU, geomagnetic reversal, maybe? Is that what that? To be fair, JU, that sounds fancy enough. That sounds like something a teacher would have said to me. Do you know what I loved? Okay, so I did geology in secondary school, and then I did geology in college. And so I learned geology at secondary school from a teacher that was great, really enjoyed. He was an awesome teacher, fantastic. Also a little bit hello. Ash, hello. And then when I got to college, there was a couple of us who'd come from my school. But, you know, a whole bunch of the other people in that class were completely different people. Obviously, because they came from different schools. But this only really applied to the people who came from my school. So I learnt from this teacher, and then I went to college, and obviously it was a different teacher. But it turns out they'd both gone to uni together. And the guy at my college, did not like the guy who'd been at my secondary school. And so for like for a lot of subject, and the worst bit was, and this wasn't really I don't think this was the fault of the secondary school teacher, but this was definitely something that opened my eyes to education, was the guy at college had to spend a lot of time, like the guy at my college really resented people, really resented that geology was taught at secondary school, because apparently the way we were taught it at secondary school was just wrong. Apparently it was wrong. It was like, it was dumbed down to a level where it wasn't correct. And so he did not like the fact that we had learned, and like geology wasn't offered in a lot of secondary schools. Though it wasn't a common subject to be offered in secondary school. So it only really impacted us. The other people, they'd never learned geology before, and he was like, you guys are going to do fine because you're going to learn it the proper way. And then he was like looking at us from my secondary school, and he was like, you guys are going to be little assholes because I have to undo everything that you learned at secondary school. And it was like, oh, okay, great. It's not our fault. We've just been taught what we've been taught. But anyway, he went to uni with our secondary school teacher, and apparently he really disliked. And then I never met the secondary school teacher again. But apparently neither of them liked each other. And so whenever we were learning things, he kind of took it out on us a little bit. And then the worst bit was, so when I was at secondary school, I had my mate Dave. And it's all right that I'm going to use his name, because calling him Dave does not narrow down, it only narrows down to what, about 90% of the male population. So my mate Dave learned geology in secondary school, but he didn't do it in college like I did. But he did go to university, and his degree was in geology at university. And it was so, again, it was like coming back to the whole, like, the way education is taught, was like, I went from secondary school to college and was told that everything in secondary school was wrong. And then I would talk to him once he went to uni, and when he would come back at summer from uni, we'd talk about geology because we both were super interested in geology. And then he would just start telling me about everything I was saying was wrong. He was like, that's not correct. That's not right. He went, and he was just like, it's okay though, they have to dumb it down for college. And I was like, oh, for God's sake, why did I learn any of these things? Why did I do any of these things? So what we learned in secondary school was nonsense, but then apparently what we learned in college was nonsense. I have no idea if what he learned in university was accurate, and then he didn't really use it because he went and became an accountant. So yeah. But I remember learning about like the reversal of the poles, and you being able to see it in continental drift. I thought that was kind of fascinating, and also terrifying, knowing that the poles would reverse. Geology was definitely not taught at school. I don't know how many schools have it as a class. I mean, the thing was, my geology teacher in secondary school also taught geography. So maybe it's just one of those things that if there's a teacher with that discipline, with that degree, maybe that's how they decide whether they can offer geology as a subject or not. I don't know. I know it definitely wasn't common, because yeah, like when I got to college, like the people, like most of my class was just like, no, that was not offered at our schools. Yeah, what was it? I mean, it was, I loved geology. Geology was great. We also got to go on some really cool trips. I say, do you know what? How much of a nerd am I going to sound like now? I was about to say we got to go on some really cool trips. Why were they really cool, Squire? What made them really cool? And I'm sat here going, because I got to go and see some really interesting rocks. How much of a fucking nerd? How much of a nerd? In fact, hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Guys, I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize to everyone who wanted to look at maps. To everyone who came here for an art stream looking at maps. This is my rock bag. This is the bag I used to... This bag is, like, older than some people who can drink now. Like, this is how old this bag is. This bag is, like, 35 years old. Oh, my God. No. Yeah, no. No, actually, no. Because before it was my rock bag, it was... I used it when I was going on holidays. Oh my God, that pencil must be so old. Oh my God, that pencil's got the timetable on it. I should have taken that into an exam. Do you know what? By now, the times table's probably changed. I'm so old now, the times table probably isn't even the same thing. So... Now, to clarify, I didn't find this on a trip. But this is, I really love geodes. So that was a birthday present from a long time ago. That was. And then I got these when I was in Disneyland. Look, it even looks like mushrooms. I don't know how well you guys can see that. I can't really show it very well. But look, they're little geodes. But so like when I used to go on geology trips, this is the kind of thing I would pick up off the beaches. You might go, it's just a rock, and I'd be like, no, there's a fossil. There's a fossil that I found on a beach. What other rocks have we got in here? Well, there's more fossils that I found, because this is one of the cool things. We went to go on fossil trips, and so we used to find all these little fossils. There's so many things. So what's this one? Oh yeah, this one's another fossil that I found. Look, there you go. This is the boring spot. This is the I mean, I want to say this is the boring part of the stream, but for some people, this might be the most exciting. But there's so many rocks. There's so many rocks in here, and I don't think they're all fossils. But there's so many rocks in here. Like there are rocks in here, like this one. This one, I don't quite know why, but I've got this rock. It's just a rock. But I thought it looked nice, so now it's my rock. And then, a bit of igneous rock. Ooh, lovely. Again, boring as hell, but to me, I'm kind of like, this is great. There's so many things in here. What? I really am sorry for everyone who wanted maps. Yeah, those are all bits of fossils. What else? I've got loads of... Oh, there's another little geode. Yeah, anyway, sorry. But this is my bag of rocks. It's really heavy. It's really heavy because it's a bag of rocks. It's not even full. I couldn't put much more in, but... How's my view count doing? My view count's pretty low right now. I think people have moved on. I think people have gone, this guy's literally showing me pieces of rock on stream. What kind of entertainment? I'm supposed to be entertained. I want to learn. about dwarves and gnomes and elves, and instead he's showing me bloody rocks. which I can't see because they're on a camera that's this big. Sorry guys. But yeah, so we got to go on some pretty cool trips. And I remember once we were supposed to be sketching sedimentary rock formations. We were meant to be sketching sedimentary rock formations, and we were on a beach, and everyone went to go and find their own bit of rock, and I went and found mine. And this was one of these moments where I just got completely in the zone. And the teacher, like, had to come and find me. And the teacher, like, everyone was getting together to leave, and I was just there just sketching my rocks, and I cannot express, this memory sits with me so much. I was sat on a beach sketching rocks, and I was so peaceful. I was so peaceful and happy. And like the teacher had to come and find me. And this was a teacher that normally would like get quite aggressive and angry. So I don't know what I looked like, but he kind of came over, he went, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" And I was like, "Sorry, do we need..." And I was like, I was like, "I'm sorry, are we supposed to be leaving?" He was like, "Yeah, we are leaving, but are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just drawing the rocks." He was like, "Oh, okay." Like this guy who's normally he was quite an aggressive teacher. But I don't know what happened in that moment. I don't know what I looked like, but he was just like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, I'm fine. I'm just drawing rocks." He was probably thinking in his head going, "This guy's a fucking loon. Who the hell is happy drawing rocks?" There you go. Insight into the mind of Squire. So I'm going to move some of the humans. Some of the humans are going to go over here. That is going to happen. And then this territory is going to be the frontier. Now, in terms of like giving a scale to this map, I'm kind of planning on a lot of this territory. Planning a lot of this territory to be kind of a similar kind of climate to like Europe, I think. Is my plan. I think a lot of here is going to be similar to Europe as well. So I'm thinking of expanding these things out. I got a horrible feeling that the bit that's concerning me right now is I feel like if I'm going to keep expanding these things out, eventually I'm going to end up with a map that just kind of looks like just a busted version of our world. Because for a moment I was thinking, oh, do you know what I could do? In my brain I was going, oh, maybe I could put some kind of like an island off the coast here. And I was like, it's England, isn't it? I've just made the UK. But I also don't just want this to be a big solid mass either. So I am going to have to do something to break this up a bit. Oh, and as a heads up, I don't know for definite yet, but for anyone who was here yesterday and we had to wrap up the stream at lunchtime, because I had a call to do some work, I didn't get the work. in the end. Because while I spent a whole bunch of time waiting, and they had some problems getting the data over to me. And then some of the data that they did manage to get over to me was not in a was it was in a bit of a fiddly format. It's not undercover. It's not like they planned it to be that way. They didn't plan it to be a problem. But anyway, yeah. So I didn't get to do any of the work yesterday, which is a bit of a bugger. I could have carried on the stream, but it was one of those things that obviously, you know, it's the joy of hindsight. If I'd known there was going to be a problem, I would have carried on the stream. But I stopped the stream at lunchtime, thinking, oh, when I get back from lunch, it'll be time to crack on. That didn't happen. But they did say, depending on how they're fixed, they might have the work available today. I don't know yet, though. There's a solid chance that work won't be available. But yeah, just if there is a phone call, I might. Well, that kind of depends whether they can get it in a better format to me. See, now that looks like a fish, doesn't it? That's kind of looking like a fish. Do that. But there's also a solid chance nothing will come along. Enjoy your meetings, even though you're technically on holiday this week. No, thumbs. No. Normally, thumbs. I tell you to try and enjoy your meetings as best you can. But no, fuck that. If you're on holiday, get back here and work here. You're in my meeting. Bloody meetings while you're on holiday. How dare they? How dare they? Max, you'll be looking to peel some potatoes. Do you need to submit a form with all the adjacent ingredients? I mean, I just, you know, what I love, Max, is that you're kind of there going, oh my god, he expects me to tell. You don't need to submit a form for adjacent ingredients, Max. You don't need to do that. But you also need to not come back and go like when you come back and I'm like, oh mate, what did you have for lunch? Did you have a nice lunch? And you turn around and you just go, I had potato. And I'll be like, what? Just raw potato? And then this is how this conversation will go in a bit. I'll be like, what? Just raw potato? And they'll be like, no. Obviously I peeled them. I'll be like, so you had peeled raw potato? And they'll be like, no. Obviously I boiled them. And by the end of it, we'll find out that he's had like a full roast dinner with all the trimmings. But his initial conversation was, yeah, I had potato. I brought in a chef, cooked for 13 people. I see how it's going, Max. I see. Anyway, enjoy your food. Enjoy your food, Max. Have a good time. Oh, now that's just starting to look like a mouth, innit? That's not good. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, so my big question, coming back to this thing, is this where this is going? That is the question. Why would it be, if it was going there, why would it be there? One of the other things I've got as well is there'll be, just to remind me that there's location there. So that's obviously, that's going to be like a primary, and then we'll probably have, so we'll probably have two port cities for between these two locations, which means there'll probably be a port city. I'll probably put a port city around there. So I've kind of created a slightly covered bay there. And then yeah. I think maybe I might leave it there. So the idea of this, the original reason this city was here was because it was a city of learning. It was a city of learning, and that's why it was there. And then they learnt a bit too hard. They learnt a bit too hard, and it all went wrong, and there was a big disaster. And now it's a fucked up city. Hello, Rocket. You're making a map. I'm making a world which eventually I want to draw it like an old school map. But at the moment I'm just kind of like, so eventually I'd like to like take this and, you know, outline it also it looks like it's hand drawn. But at the moment I'm just doing it with like the colors and stuff very roughly because I just kind of want to get an idea of where things are going to be vaguely, and then doing it like this I feel a bit better just kind of moving things around if I want to change them, whereas if I'd like hand drawn it I'd probably be like, oh, I've got to redraw all that now, that's a pain. Whereas this way feels a bit more rough and I feel a bit more, yeah. So I'm trying to put together a world, and it's so that I can start thinking about the lore a bit more for certain locations. But the main location that I'm trying to work on at the moment is a city that is a city of learning. And the city of learning did research into all kinds of things, and it's away from a whole bunch of the kingdoms because some of the learning was considered possibly unnatural, and it turns out it was not great. Turns out it was not great. And some of their research went very, very wrong. It went very, very wrong. I'll tell you what. Let's grab that. Where have you gone? You're all the way over here. No. No. I need you over here. do 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 do. Have I researched old cities? Not specifically for this. Like I've done. Like I know bits of history, but no, not specifically for this city. So, so the way the story goes for this territory is, again, I think I'm going to do this kind of roughly at the beginning, and then I'll narrow it down as I think it through a bit more. Now, when the city, so there's this territory here contains a city and a bunch of villages. The villages supply apparently the villages supply. The villages supply like various resources to the city. That's why they're there. And then when the city falls, because of its location, it cuts off the villages from being able to get help from elsewhere. So the city needs to kind of be, the city's going to have to be roughly around here somewhere. So that it's kind of blocking that off. And then the villages are going to have to be around here. Now, being that there's a forest down here, there'll probably be a village of some kind down here. Because that'll be supplying lumber. We'll probably have a village somewhere around here. And we'll say there's some mines. We'll say there's some mining going on there. Now I think I think I'd said originally there was going to be 7 villages. Can't remember why I said 7. But yeah. And this city can span out a bit more. Hello, Mextrom. How are you doing? Probably be a village around. We'll put a village around here. Maybe one. These are going to be like swamp. Not marshes, swamps. These are going to be, well, probably be a combination of a few actually, because we've got that forest on the bottom. Probably marshes close to the coast, but it's mostly going to be a lot of swamp. Maybe there can be another mining village. Probably a village in the middle. Not all these villages are going to survive. I might expand that forest out a bit. Otherwise I think that'll become a problem. On the world map, if that was a larger forest. Yeah, I could make that forest bigger. In fact, to be fair, actually the villages might cultivate it a bit. So I'm alright with that. Next round, you good? Excellent. Excellent that you are good. Rocket, can you add suggestions? I'm good at the moment, thank you. If I get stuck on anything, I'll shout up. Now, if this mountain that's here, because the long-term part of the story is that the villages, I suppose this would make building the walls easier. And then long term, when we kind of get to a bit more of a conclusion, there will actually be kind of the outskirts of the city. There's essentially a fortification established here. And that's to stop things, that's to make it easier, that's to stop things getting out. And then these guys, there's going to be, let's change this a little bit. Going to be protected roads between the villages, which these purpose of meaning that the communication between each one is maintained. And also stops things just kind of wandering out. So actually that one would come that way. And there'll probably be which means do these need to exist? They probably would actually. Nice looks. Don't know how I feel about that. Don't know how I feel about that. Oy, oy, oy. Maybe. Maybe. Six. Originally, what did I have originally? Oh wait, no, I only ever had this written down, didn't I? Never drew it out. Let's hit save on that anyway. So we've got a bit more going on there. Metro, can you critique this? Not right now. It's still too early. Get rid of that one. There is magic in this world, yep. Magic exists in this world. It's I was about to say controlled substance, but not a controlled substance. But it is controlled. A lot of magic. Like there's safe magic and there's unsafe magic, and the unsafe magic is essentially magic is connected to, well, magic and souls are kind of the same thing. Magic souls formed from magic. And then souls started interacting with living things, and then that's where the creatures started to alter from just kind of like their animalistic state and more to their sapient state. Magic is magic is more powerful when conducted through living tissue, through yourself. But the problem with conducting magic through yourself is it's quite addictive. It's kind of like a bit of a rush, and so people become addicted to casting magic. But pouring magic through your body also makes like lasting changes, and so it's generally considered that you need to avoid it, because it essentially using magic through your body kind of drives you a little bit insane, because it's such kind of like a rush. People are always trying to do stronger and stronger magic. What did I write on that one? Did I do that on that? No, what twerp. Alright. So what people tend to do with magic in this world is they tend to cast it through items that have crystals of mana in them. Exists in this world, but it's definitely not used by like everybody. And not really surprisingly, some races are better than others at using magic. Good. So we can have the mines. Oh, wait, where's my cursor? Oh, there's my cursor. Ooh, Thumbs, welcome back from the meeting that you shouldn't have been in. It's time to turn your phone off, Thumbs. Oh no, your Thumbs, your phone has run out of battery. Your lurk back thingy. Oh wait, oh god, did I attach the bot today? There you go. There you go. It's all right. It's all right. I just forgot to tell the bot that it needed to connect to chat. There you go. If you do it now, it'll work fine. It's all right. Firebot's all right. I just forgot to hit the connect button when I loaded it up. That's all. It's all good. Hello, Danger. Redraw any character from your series, Danger, episode 1. It's not something I'm doing right now. You happy now? You happy now? You're back, Thumbs. Good, good. So, there probably is. Where did that go? Alright. One, two, three, four, five, six. And that one's there. So this village will end up falling. I did have a plan, which again, this might be a reason to move where this city is. I did have a reason. And it's not entirely going to work. Based on its location, because originally in kind of like this story, I mean, I can alter the story. Like, altering the story is not a huge thing, really. But I was going to have this city kind of blocking off the way in and out, and so the Empire eventually builds a new road through the swamps. But building roads through swamps takes time, especially if you're trying to get large quantities out. To then connect to them. But with the way this map's laid out, there wouldn't really be a lot, because eventually they're going to take over here. Yeah, this does need to be more this way, I think. Before I got in mind. Now if I had this road trying to because there was this. If I had the city further this way, the road coming out there wouldn't make a lot of sense. If we have the road coming out to there, maybe they just don't build a road. Maybe that's it. Maybe there's just some kind of like a path. Maybe there's just pathfinders, rangers, whatever I want to call them, who just make their way through the swamp because the Empire is concerned about whether things... Because if things are going this way, I suppose, would the Empire care? Would the Empire care, really, if things were coming out this way? Because there isn't any Empire this direction. This is all the dwarves. Which, while the Empire doesn't necessarily want to screw over the dwarves, would they care? I don't know if they would. I don't know if they would. So in terms of when these guys hook back up, maybe that's part of the story. Maybe these guys link up at a similar time to when these guys are doing this up here. And maybe the Empire just presumes that they're all dead. So they never try and push beyond because they're just in their containment. They're just trying to contain the threat from leaving this way. That could work. What was this? Oh yeah, that was that. I'm gonna pull the city that way a bit. Which I think does. I think having the city further over there. Probably will have. I mean, there might be some villages here. Those villages will fall though. Those villages won't exist anymore. It's only going to be the villages on the outskirts. Actually, I suppose the Empire might go through the swamps, not because they care about what's going this way, but maybe they care about what can get this way. That could work. That could work. And then inadvertently they come that way. How does the village... Well, I mean, the villages will just be wells. The city could be a well. Could easily be an aqueduct here. Like, 'cause obviously there's a whole mountain here, so there might just be aqueducts coming off the mountain. And then if you're there, I wonder where they would go and ask for help. They probably... Wait, what area are you on? No, you're on this side. Alright. It's going to be a road. It's going to lead to whatever city. Whatever city's up there. Be a road that'll come through that mountain pass. Which will most likely go up there as well. And then that can follow the coast to that city. Probably means we're going to need some kind of a village there. I'd imagine there'd be something there, some kind of a structure. And then be a city there. And there was a road that came out here. The actual empire isn't over here. It's gonna be So the largest parts of like the human kingdoms gonna be over here. Not curious what I want. Not sure what I want to do with this space yet. But so, if I'm saying, so these guys have access to wood, they have access to the, this will be, I mean, to be fair, this actually might split in two. I might have this as marshland. Sorry, I might have this as swamp, whereas this might actually be more likely to be marshland. So they've got access to wood, got access to bits in there, in the mines. And so in terms of the peasants, swap those around. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. I need... Nope, give me that. Hello, Growler. How you doing? Wait. Wait, where did that arm just go that I just brought over? Wait. Oh, you're behind, that's why. That's why. Let's... You posted your... It's arrived. Wait, you posted your delivery in photos. They're not photos. These better be phenomenal. Am I going to be amazed? What have you got? A move master. So do you use that? Right, okay, so is that replacing your... Is that replacing your mouse, or is that replacing your keyboard? Which one does that replace? You rest your palm on it. Yeah. It's a mini keyboard, right. So is your plan... Is that for, say, like if you were playing like a mech game or something? Say like a game where you're controlling a vehicle. Is it for stuff like that, or something completely different? FPS games. WSD for the top unit, right? Funky. Gonna take some cake. I mean, that's fair. Oh, it's 12 o'clock. Blooming heck. Blooming heck. Sure, I was going to do that, but maybe not. Actually, Joe, now it's being that it's 12 o'clock, I'm just going to go and shove some food in my gob. That shouldn't be super long because I'm not shoving a lot of food in my gob. And then not sure what we're doing this afternoon. We might just carry on with these bits. Might carry on plicking away at bits for the moment. Plicking away? Chipping away. Let's go with chipping away. Chipping away at bits, try and get them further along. I do keep meaning to revisit the actual background character of this thing to give it a bit more detail, but I don't know if that'll be this afternoon. Or maybe potentially I do need to put some time into the mechs. Actually, I do need to come back to the mechs at some point. But anyway, right. If you've been sat here as long as I have, please go and stretch your legs. Oh damn! When my internet dropped a load of frames, when was that? I don't know why I don't know what's gone wrong. Unless it's the weather. Might be the weather that's knackered the internet. I don't know when I dropped all those frames. Anyway, if you've been sat here as long as I have, go stretch your legs, go get some hydration. If it is the appropriate time of day, please go get yourself some food. If it's not the appropriate time of day, go check on your pets. If you are at work, make sure you've done enough work that they leave you alone. If you are at home, do something off your home tick list that you need to get sorted. If you're working from home, then it's the same as working, just do enough that they leave you alone. And that's that. Longer I waffle, longer it's going to take me to get back. So I shall see you in about 15 minutes. We're back. We're back. Oh, do 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 do. Max, you back from the kitchen? What food you got, Max? What food have you got? You had some boiled potatoes with peas. Okay, spinach, olive oil, some vinegar. Okay. Okay, okay. And something I don't know how to call it in English, canned meat. So yeah, probably something similar to spam, like Yana was saying. Have a look. Oh, wait, hang on. Shop for... do you know what? Looking at the picture, actually, maybe not quite like spam, just canned meat. Yeah, so a bit different to spam, but there's clearly a very... I think this is definitely the brand, isn't it? Because just with like with the cow on top, just in case you're unsure. It's like, oh, it's a cow. Good, good. I thought I was buying a chicken. Oh, but wait, then that picture looks a bit almost like. But to be fair, that's a very picture. That one. Yeah. Okay. So looking at one of the pictures of it, it just looks like slices of beef in jelly. So not quite like. So a bit different to different to spam, but yeah, just canned meat. Yeah. Oh man, now I'm thinking about spam. Now I'm thinking about spam. I love spam. Although when I get spam, I don't tend to get spam. I just get Tesco's version of spam. Oh man. Spam. Fried. With on top of some noodles. It's great. It's great. It's a great time. It's a great, great time. You've not missed it. He has. How dare you, Thumbs? How dare you? Thumbs, we've gotten on so well until this point, and then you just have to throw it all away. How dare you? Spam. Max has missed out. I need to, at some point, one day, I need to just send, Max, like, a care package. It's just going to have Bovril and spam. I think that's it. Maybe some coleslaw. I don't know if the coleslaw will survive the trip, though. But maybe some coleslaw. I can't remember. I'm sure there's something else that Max hasn't had. I'll send him some tiramisu. It's either super hidden here in the grocery stores like peanut butter. Oh, man, was peanut butter the other one? Was peanut butter the other one we talked about that you've not had? A proper UK food campaign. We just know that he's in need. He's in need of some food. What food are we sending him? Spam and Bovril. And tiramisu. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. What is Monster Munch? You Google Monster Munch. Monster Munch. I didn't have a lot of Monster Munch growing up. That was not necessarily my crisp of choice. Not to say that it's bad. It's definitely not saying it's bad. It was not necessarily my crisp of choice. But I'll tell you what, I'd have Monster Munch over Quavers, definitely. Quavers were not it. Quavers were kind of like, if there was nothing else available. Do you know what? I used to just like, you know, cheese and onion. Oh, just Walker's, not sponsored. Just Walker's cheese and onion crisps. I could eat those for ages. And then when I kind of finally discovered McCoy's, again, not sponsored. Plenty of other crisps exist. Like McCoy's was just like the Don. And then like there was Doritos as well. Yeah, Monster Munch was okay.
Ooh, so good.
It was all right. It was all right. Doc, thank you very much for the gifty sub, just coming out of nowhere. How you doing? Oh, actually, do you know what? That's jogged my memory. Something I was going to ask people if they've seen or heard anything about this, because I don't know if it's real. So I'm not going to start saying, hey, this is real. I just saw a streamer talking about it. Not a streamer, a YouTuber. I mean, to be fair, often they're the same thing, aren't they? Talking about gift subs. And I don't know if this is true, before anyone kind of goes, burn the witch. Burn the witch. We're not burning witches yet. But has anyone else heard about, apparently, that the algorithm is built, and this has all come off the back of, you know, like they've got very like anti-botting at the moment. They're trying to do a big push on killing all the bot views. I saw some people saying that the way the gifting algorithm works, it is weighted, like that Twitch kind of already knows who the bots are, and it weights gift subs towards the bots. I don't know, and again, I don't know if this is real. This could just be someone making it up, but apparently they already know who the bots are, and they weight the gifted subs towards bots. And this is not how I used to understand how the system worked. So that the genuine chatters don't have subs, and so still have to sub, and so overall they get more subs because the gift subs go to bots who don't care. Which, if that was ever proven to be true, that'd be a bit of a thing, wouldn't it? And I'd be intrigued to know if it ever turns out to be true. It's definitely. You see, this is the thing, Max. Like, I heard it and I was like, that's a hell of a thing. But like, well, like what you're saying, Max, is kind of like. But if I found out it was definitely true, I'd be like, yeah, that probably makes sense. Like, I can see that happening. But then you see, the other thing that I thought about was like, has someone come to this conclusion because they saw someone view botting? And so if you're view botting, let's like, has someone kind of like based this on, they've looked at a channel and worked out that there's 100 bots. Say there's 100 bots watching a channel. Say there's 100 bots watching a channel and there's 10 real viewers. Has someone come to this conclusion because someone gifted subs to the channel and they went to the bots? Where in actual fact, that's just because, that's just in terms of the world of randomness, there was more chance of it hitting one of the 100 bots than it was hitting one of the real viewers. That's why I'm kind of like, has anyone else heard about this? Because I feel like that could easily happen and someone come to the conclusion based on that. I think it's someone making bullshit that feeds into people's paranoia. Are you implying that people create drama? Are you suggesting people would create drama? I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. And sorry, Thumbs, I missed your last couple of Doc Crisp suggestions. I was scanning up there, I just read Doc highlighted. What were those little prawn cocktail flavoured things? Oh, Skips. Skips were good. Skips were good, but I still would I would have chosen Walker's prawn cocktail crisps over Skips. But anyway, right, back down. Like the rumor that only active users count towards a stream of view counts for ads. Oh, that was a while ago, wasn't it, that one? I don't even know what the end result of that was. You're inferring... Wait, you're inferring and I'm implying. Same thing, mate. Same thing. Bonge. Hello, Bonge. How you doing? Bonge. Explosive Twitch news. Squire creates drama in hunt for exposure and clout. Indeed. Yes. And I'm going to say that's all because of you, Bonge, if I say it's all because of you, because that's what you have to do, isn't it? If you want to create drama and clout, you have to include another streamer, ideally one that maybe people don't interact with. Although, to be fair, we have, this is not going to work. Bonge, I need someone else. Find another stream. I was about to say we need another streamer that you know the same audience doesn't interact with. This isn't going to work. You've failed me, Bonge. You failed me. I can't do drama with you. We have overlapping viewers. Please provide new location. This is fine. This means you're an influencer. Everything you've ever dreamed of. No. I've just realised, Bond, you can't be an influencer unless. Have you launched a crypto coin yet? Maybe this is how we'll do it. We'll both launch crypto coins, and then we can both be influencers, and we can have drama over whose crypto coin is better. There we go. Sorted. I'm glad we've got a plan. We just need to sort it out now. Alex sponsor. Why is Streets Food Market a food court? Why is a Streets Food Market a food court? I think it depends on where they are, sponsor. I think you get street food, and I think you get food courts. I think a food court, it is an enclosed area, whereas street food is like, I think, okay, hang on. If you were to have, like, I think if you had a street, okay. If you had a street where people could just go out, come in this way, and come in this way, like they could just pass along this street, and then there were food stalls, I would class that as street food. Whereas a food court, I feel like a food court needs to be an enclosed space with only one way in and out. Like that, I think, would be a food court. Maybe even with a roof. I don't know if it necessarily needs a roof. I feel like that would be a food court, whereas that would just be street food. A Bungie, no drama. Your coin is better. I see how it is. I see how it is. I tried to translate it, and it got into food court. I don't know specific. I've never really looked up the specifics, so I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head. That would be my response to thinking off the top of my head. Was I would presume that was the difference. But yeah, I don't know. What defines a food court? Let's see. A food court is a place, for example, in a shopping mall that has several small restaurants and a common eating area. There you go. That's the definition of a food court. A food court is a place in a shopping mall that has several small restaurants and a common eating area. So, yeah. So maybe it's because it's got a communal eating area. Maybe the communal eating area is the important bit, whereas like a street food market, you just kind of like buy your food and then leave the area and walk away with it. It's raining again. Oh my god, there's so much rain. Okay. Today's Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah. I remember what day of the week it is. Good for me. Kind of. No, it's definitely Tuesday. Don't say Wednesday. Don't say Wednesday. No, it's Tuesday. Shut up. Shut up. I had hard enough time. I had a hard enough time remembering. I need routine. I need my routine. Don't take my routine away from me. Part of my routine is trying to remember what day of the week it is. It's Blurns Day. Wait, what? I don't even. What even is Blurns Day? Or are we just? Is this just a new? Is this just a completely new word? So that you can claim that it's. But if you make up a word, then you could always claim it's that day of the week, can't you? Because you're like, yeah, that's what that one means. What do you mean? Everyone knows Morb Day, Blurns Day, Wubnance Day, Thwarp Day, Framsma Day, Splatter Day, and Snore Day. Right. I see. I clearly had not thought about all of those. You're right. I hadn't thought about those. I'll think about those now. Max, to be honest, they all sound like that to you anyway. In Max's quest to learn more English. He's getting absolutely screwed over. Lazzy days. God. Do you know what? I remember Happy Days, but I can't remember ever really watching it. But I remember Happy Days. I think it was kind of like, when would I have watched Happy Days? Would have been... I wonder if that was maybe like a Saturday morning thing. Maybe. Hey. Oh, now I've got that theme tune in my head. God damn it. God damn it. Sponsor. So if international food vendors set up stalls at a city's main space at the walking street, that would be a market or a court. I mean, when they do that here, when they do that stuff here, we refer to that as like a food market. So like in Manchester we have like we'll have like the Christmas markets which will have like food vendors and stuff along the streets, and so we refer to that as a market. But there's also a location in Manchester which we refer to as the food court, and that's more like a permanent setup. Now, I wonder if I can. Is there a good view? Is there a good view? Trying to see if I can get a good photo of what we tend to refer to as a food court. No, that was rubbish. That was rubbish. Why is no one taking a good picture of this place? Why? That'll do. That'll do. Right. So like that. So there's a place called the Arndale Food Court. So you got like the communal eating, but then you've got the various food places around the edge, and then kind of like everyone's eating in the middle. But that's kind of like a permanent setup. That's like a permanent place. We've got another one in the Trafford Centre as well, which is a place, another like shopping mall in Manchester. So this is the Arndale shopping mall in Manchester, and there's another one called the Trafford Centre that also has a food court. So we would probably describe that as a food court, whereas that's not a great picture. We got a better picture? No. Okay, hang on. So, like, that's the food market, so just on a street. But that's like a temporary thing that sets up at like the weekends and stuff. If that makes more sense, sponsor. But every time you set food market in your language, it will say, do you mean food court? I don't know what the answer is to that, sponsor. But that would be the differences that I would say. Like, if you told me we were going to a food court, I'd be thinking of the first one. If you told me we were going for some street food, I'd be thinking of the second one. Doc, the classic episode of Happy Days where Fonzie hits the jukebox. Wait, what? I'm going to presume that that's not a real one. The Darwin Food Festival. Is that a big festival? I've not heard of the Darwin Food Festival before. Is it massive? I'm tempted to make the scythe a bit larger, I think. Thinking... do that. Max, just like pie and cake being the same word in Italian. Wait, pie and cake are the same word in Italian, but then how do you... What... How does that make sense? That doesn't make sense, Max. Like, that's worse than you telling me that you eat dry pasta and then list off half a dozen ingredients. Like, how can pie and cake be the same thing? You just specify what's in it to differentiate. But as we learnt yesterday, Max, you don't like to specify what's in things. So... This doesn't work. That could be a problem, right? But pie and cake are very different things. Like, a pie, hang on, right, hold on, right, we've got to delve into this, right, a pie is a crust, with a filling, and then like a crust top. Unless, of course, it's an open pie, but you've specified it's an open pie. Whereas a cake is like layers of cake. Like cake, there's layers of cake, and sometimes they'll have some filling in the middle. Like, there's no pie crust. What does... I don't understand, sponsor. Not sponsor, sorry, Max. I don't understand, Max. This is... Look how much you've thrown me. How can pie and cake be the same thing? This makes no sense. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. This needs more explanation. Doc, 2 week... Oh, it's a 2-week food festival, so it's going to be something... So it's clearly not a weekend thing with 2 stalls. Darwin Food Festival. Let's have a look. Ooh, there's lights and everything. It's been active for 46 years. What if you make a cake that lives in a pie? Crust, pudding, cake, frosting, cake... No, 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 no. Max, you can also generalize by saying it's sweet or salty. That doesn't... No. No, sweet and salty is not... They're different things. They're different things. We don't really have that many pies, to be honest. Maybe that's why. Oh, okay. So, right. Let's... So... Max care package. We need to send spam. We need to send coleslaw. We need to send bovril. We need to send actual pies and actual cakes. What else do I can't remember what else. This list's getting longer, man. This list is getting longer. I can't remember what the other things were that were in this list. But I just... pie and cake, they're not... No. 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 There we go. There we go. Pie and cake, not the same thing. Different things. Darwin Food Festival. Which starts in 2 days. Okay. They're going to have... Ooh. Some guys who do a fusion of Thai and Indian and Nonya cuisine. I don't even know what Nonya is. I don't think I've heard of that before. I don't know what it is. Then we've got a guy with a wood-fired pizza oven. Yeah. We've got some Mexican flavors. Zesty. What else we got going on? We got some food from Nepal. Okay. Got East African flavors. More Thai. Not fusion this time, just Thai. And then Trampoline. So, do you know what? The person who runs Trampoline clearly has been speaking to Max, because this place is called Trampoline and they serve ice cream. That's the kind of person who's like, pie and cake, they're the same thing. That is confusing. Oh, we've got some Vietnamese food. Lovely. I want a seafood place. Yeah, yeah, okay. I need to make a decision. I need to make a decision. I might need to wrap up stream. That work might be available. That work might be available again. Question is, can I get it all done in time? probably. Okay, let's hit save on that. Alright, we might need to wrap up stream. Trampoline is gelato. Do you know what? Doc? I refuse to accept that gelato and ice cream being any different. I refuse. If pie and cake are the same thing, then ice cream and gelato, same thing. That's that. Yana, more work. No, the work from yesterday, unfortunately, Yana. Unfortunately, they had an issue getting over the raw data yesterday, so I couldn't do the work yesterday, unfortunately. But it might be available today. So yeah, so unfortunately, yeah, yesterday was a bit of a unfortunate one. Not different. That right there is why British food isn't bland though. It's complete bollocks. But if pie and cake are the same thing, then gelato and ice cream are the same thing. This is outrageous. Are they any different? See, Max doesn't see the Italian even says they're the same thing. There we go. Right, anyway, guys, I'm gonna have to wrap up stream. And hopefully I can get this stuff, if they start uploading it, this is gonna I should be able to get it done. British food's very black. This is complete bollocks. I hear this joke has been used so many times. It's nonsense. Also, Sponsor has no taste buds. Sponsor tries to eat the hottest things he can that are classed as challenge foods, but he tries to eat them as everyday meals. So no. No. He's like, the hot chip challenge? I'll have that that'll just be like my lunch. Anyway, guys, right, sorry. I am going to have to... wait, are we nearly out of ads? Right, we're just coming out of ads. Is that stuff starting to be there now? Let's have another look. Let's have a quick look on the screen. Why are you not... Oh, am I on the wrong thing? On the wrong thing. That's why. Is any of this... Okay, right. Hopefully they're starting to upload. Right, they're trying to upload things, and I need to try and get this done. I'll wrap up stream now. I'll see if this stuff can be done, and then I was about to say I'll be over on Rook's stream tonight, but I can't actually guarantee that right now. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how the rest of the day goes. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so I go outside and have to talk to people, so no stream tomorrow. We'll be back on Thursday, where we're just chipping away at arty bits, chipping away at more arty bits, and that's all of that. I'll keep hold of this, though. The more I look at it, the more it's going to change. The more this is going to change. Let's save that. We'll get rid of that. So yeah, we'll be back on Thursday. We'll do more arty bits on Thursday. I still don't know what we're doing on Friday. Might actually just be an art day on Friday. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, guys, if you've been here, thank you very much. If you've been talking in chat, thank you even more. I have told you where I'll be. So whatever you choose to do with the rest of your day, I hope you have a fantastic time. And until I next see you, oh god! Until I next see you, and presumably I don't break anything. Until next see you. Until then, goodbye.